Video game developers are not taking the election of President Donald Trump very well at all. We have reports coming in from inside Activision Blizzard that things are just getting completely out of hand there. And then we also have a Mass Effect writer taking to Blue Sky, making completely unhinged comments. First, we'll start with the Mass Effect writer. I wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com. You can find a link in the description below. You can also find a link to become a member of the channel. And this Mass Effect writer, Casey Alexander, that is what she looks like right there. I'm not sure if she's actually working on the upcoming Mass Effect game. She did write the tie-in book, Mass Effect Andromeda Nexus Uprising, and she is not handling the news that President Donald Trump won very well at all. We need to keep people like this in our prayers because these people are suffering. They are suffering from significant spiritual decline. And we need to pray for these people and hope that they get better because what she posts here is just absolutely insane. So first, she wrote this. Have reached the point in this game where the first night shrieks and wails and sober is no longer acceptable. Tomorrow is a new day, but to get there, it's Z-Quill time. Unsponsored, F this crap. I'm emotionally unavailable for the next 5 hours. Sleep aid of choice. Star quantity of Z's optional. So she's medicating herself over the election. I mean, this is a very troubled individual that needs our help, and we can help them by praying for them. And if you know her, like, reach out to her. I mean, clearly these people have been brainwashed so hard. They have been led down this tunnel of delusion that is woke ideology, and it has broken them because they fight against reality. And when reality comes back and hits them in the face, they don't know how to handle it. And you get responses like this. If you can, whatever you need, try to get some sleep. Even if it's scattered cat naps, your brain needs the energy to function, and we will want to function. In another post, Alexander wrote this. I'm trying hard to restrain the vicious need to lash out at other people. I am too furious, too spiteful, too exhausted, too flattened, too scared, and yet I am incandescent with a rage that has only this damaged body and mind to house it. So, like I said, completely unhinged, appears very disturbed, and what caused this? The election of Donald Trump as president. This is not what a person who is disciplined and in control of themselves would be posting over the loss of a political candidate or in an election. These people are damaged. They are extremely damaged individuals. They probably have some kind of trauma in their history, and they haven't worked through it. And instead, they get captured by woke ideology, and then they begin warring with reality because they haven't dealt with the trauma that is clearly afflicting them. So they need our prayers. She needs our prayers. Can't say that enough. In another post, she wrote this. Y'all, I will be streaming today. A lot of us are afraid and raw and grieving, so it won't be a scary game. I'm thinking Nightingale is pretty fey, steampunk fantasy, and we could build a house while we chat. Or smack creatures of darkness around. Either or, just running a little late. So that is what she had to say. Clearly not someone who has their head on straight and is obviously suffering from some kind of deep trauma that is causing her to react like this over an election. This is not normal, sane behavior. And I think that if you look throughout social media, you're seeing this from lots of different people, and it is clearly a spiritual problem because these people have been infected by the woke mind virus, and it literally drives them crazy when reality does not reflect what their vision of reality is. They create this delusion. So we've also got this over here too. Wrote this up over on Fandom Pulse. You can also find the link in the description below. But we have reports that Activision employees are contemplating violence. Completely unhinged stuff here. You should subscribe over here to Phantom Pulse as well. Be writing a lot more over here in the near future. So we got this report from Grums, Mark Kern, former World of Warcraft team lead. He says, more Slack leaks from Activision Blizzard. Dev contemplate gun violence. Other devs now see the benefit of armed self-defense. They are losing it. And he shared this screenshot right here from an alleged Activision Blizzard employee saying, it must be working on redacted, making me more violent, but I have never been more tempted to buy a gun. And you got people saying, arm the left. After all, an armed minority is harder to oppress. If you can afford to get life insurance, no one fights harder than insurance companies. And if more minorities get them, then it'll be harder for hate crime to get swept under the rug. So this is just completely unhinged behavior right here. I mean, this could be dangerous. I mean, this should be reported potentially to the police. I mean, this is not good stuff right here. He also shared this. Activision Blizzard devs are melting down after the election. About half the office is losing their minds. People are crying, panicking, leaving work early. Trans people are talking about buying guns. People are passing out. Crisis support line numbers. It's complete chaos. And he said he thought he would only be around 10% of the devs there, but it's nearly 50. That's how deeply rooted the woke mind virus has gotten into these big video game companies. And we see what these companies are doing. They are literally indoctrinating their employees into this ideology. I mean, you can look at this comment here from the current president of Activision Blizzard, Bob Kostich. He says, for us to operate at the top of our game in both areas, it's imperative that we champion diversity, equity, and an inclusion environment where everyone can show up as the best version of themselves, motivated and comfortable to push our thinking in all new ways. Well, how do you do that? You indoctrinate people through workshops, presentations, etc. And you know that's what they're doing. It's exactly what they're doing at these companies. As we look at our player community, we probably reflect the diversity of our players and our teams and in our thinking in order to exceed their needs and expectations as they connect in our incredible games. This logic makes absolutely no sense. There's no reason why you would need to reflect the world around you if you're trying to make games. Like, just make good games. And no matter who the people are, if you make good games, people are going to buy them. This is the same ridiculous argument that Victoria Alonso was making with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it made absolutely no sense given the fact that they weren't actually doing that when they got as big as what they were through phase 1 and 2 and had the big hit Avengers. They weren't trying to reflect the world around them when they were making those movies. And it became big. People in China, people in South America, Brazil, Europe, everyone loved those movies. Kostic also said this culture journey is one that never ends. We will strive to improve every day. This is an essential global team effort that we will continue to refine together. Improve every day. So they're probably seeing like newsletters or something out every single day with this, maybe reminders, Slack messages. This company is to blame. They have done this to their own employees. They deserve a lot of the fault here. This guy should be fired. This Rob Kostich guy, he should be fired. They should also fire the entire HR department for pushing this stuff. I mean, this stuff is insane. Like, look at this. Diversity fuels innovation. So we're creating an environment where differences are embraced, valued, celebrated, and always welcomed. Our best work comes from a culture in which our employees bring their authentic and best selves. No, absolutely not. If you have people who are mentally ill working at your company and you're just like, oh, that's totally fine, have at it, that is going to negatively affect the rest of the company. You have people like this in your company. It's just this authentic self here. I'm becoming more violent. I'm just becoming more like my authentic self. Can you imagine? That's what these people are probably saying. Some of these people are saying. This is a dangerous way to operate your company. It's stupid. It's evil. We work hard to create an environment that encourages and celebrates this belief. Like, they're literally trying. They are encouraging this. This company is encouraging this type of behavior. This is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And we're proud that we've been recognized for our efforts, including being named one of the best places to work for LGBTQ equality by the Human Rights Campaign Foundation's Corporate Equality Index in 2019 and 2020. I mean, they literally track their employees with an inclusion score. This is on their diversity, equity, and inclusion report. Internally, we shape our world to embrace employees for what makes them unique, allowing them to bring their full talents to bear through inclusive hiring and people practices. So they literally have illegal hiring. I think with Donald Trump now in charge, he needs to activate the Department of Justice to target all of these companies for their illegal hiring practices based on race. Just send the DOJ after these companies. Root this mind virus out of these companies. This is illegal, it's evil, and it's wrong. And it needs to be stamped out because they are seriously damaging people. This is coming from the corporate culture that they have created. Now, obviously, there's other reasons involved too, right? Society at large, I think. But these corporations, the people that are running these corporations, they play a big role in why this is happening. Why there's so many people with this woke mind virus, because they are literally indoctrinating people through these workshops and presentations at the company. They have like DEI departments. We're reading a DEI report here. The company admits it tracks its employees based on diversity and inclusion, and it even has what it calls an inclusion score, or a quantitative measure of the extent to which employees feel welcomed, valued, and included within the organization. It justifies this practice by claiming this ensures employees reflect the global gaming community, enabling our games to reach a wider audience. We kind of already talked about why that's absolutely makes no sense. It's illogical. This is what we're dealing with here in the video game industry. This industry needs to be saved. It needs to be saved. And I think we save it by closing our wallets, not purchasing the games that they are creating that are propaganda lectures at best, at worst, humiliation rituals like Dragon Age the Veilguard. And they're harming their own employees. They are harming their own employees with this ideology as well. This doesn't come out of nowhere. This comes from their corporate policies, at least partly so. And I hope Donald Trump gets in there, uses the Department of Justice for what it should be used for, and gets rid of these illegal practices that these companies are pushing and are using to damage their own employees and our fellow Americans. It's sick, it's evil, and we must oppose it. But this is what's happening in the video game industry right now. There's a lot more going on. Obviously, talked about Patrick Weeks yesterday having a complete meltdown. But these people need help. These people need a lot of help, and we have to pray for them. And if you know them personally, try to get them help because they need help. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, but to always speak the truth.